Welcome to Scary Stories from the Rez. I'm your host, Megan Howard-Gibbon, and today we're joined by a special guest, Rowan Teegee-Zatorski. Rowan is a young man of Lheidli T'enneh and Takla descent, and I met him through his parents who I used to work with, so I'm really happy that they suggested he come onto my podcast. Rowan, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rowan Teegee-Zatorski. I'm 18 years old. I was born in Prince George, BC. I was born and raised on the reserve, Lheidli T'enneh. Mm-hmm. And growing up in Prince George I would say it's like a good place to settle down. But I feel like once you're older, you should probably move away for a little bit just to get that experience. But growing up in Prince George was pretty fun. Growing up on the reserve was really fun. I have a sister that's 3 years older than me, so we would do a lot of like outdoor activity. Like we would just play outside a lot with other little res kids we met, and I guess our parents were pretty supportive, and they put us in a lot of sports. So me and my sister grew up playing all different types of sports. Our family tried to get us involved quite a bit with our band and Takla's band too. Even though we're from Lheidli T'enneh, we still go out and visit Takla here and there with my parents. But yeah, that's really it about.
I've heard some stories from out at the Lheidli Reserve. Has anything ever happened while you were out there?
I had one like really pretty scary and like story I've had. Like I had other creepy things just happen to me here and there, like my sister too, but the one in particular was, I believe, all the way back in 2018. It was late September, and I had a buddy of mine who was my age. We were, I think, 12 years old, and we just started the 7th grade, and it was like the prime time for grouse hunting. So we didn't have like any pellet guns or anything, so we would take out our like slingshots. So we got back from school. I'm pretty sure it was a Friday because my friend was spending the night, and we live by a river. I don't know if it's Northland Chaco or Fraser River, because that's where the two rivers meet in Prince George. So we had our old 4-wheeler we had, and we drove it out by the river, but before we got to the river, there was a couple bushes and a trail you had to walk through. And then in the springtime, when the river raises, it seeps in and makes like a swimming hole and seeps out. So the swimming hole was kind of dried up. We walked over to the swimming hole, and we don't really know how to hunt. We kind of know like maybe the basics. So we sat by the river and chilled for maybe 10-15 minutes, just being quiet, just to see if any grouse will be nearby. But no, it was silent, and like you get that feeling when like you're talking to somebody, or you're just not paying have attention to something else, but like you feel like something's staring at you. That whole time, like after, like when we first got there, it was cold, and I just had like the feeling of just something just staring at you. And I was me and my friend were just looking around, and maybe about 100 yards away, or maybe 150, where the river rises and it starts seeping through. We saw like this black kind of just thing, like pretty far out, but we didn't know like what it could be. We just thought it might have just like been a bush or like a small little pine tree. So we didn't pay much attention to it. So we would still sit and be quiet, hopefully waiting for grouse to come by, or like anything, like a duck maybe, but nothing came by. I still had that feeling where someone was just watching me, like I'm just looking around, seeing if anything's coming. And we looked back at the same place where we first saw it. It wasn't there. And then me and my friend kind of started, like, our hearts started kind of pumping a little bit more, and we're like, yo, what was that? But we just tried writing it off as like maybe just a bear that wandered off, or like our eyes are just not working right or something. But then maybe around 75 yards away, we saw it kind of like move closer, but it was like there was this huge pine tree, and then you could only like see half. And this, like, I'm thinking like 10 feet tall. It was long arms, long legs, skinny, and it kind of had like eyes, but like they were like yellow, and kind of bright. But we only saw one half of it, and we still didn't know what to think. We didn't know what it could be, if it was real or not. So we just continued just sitting and be quiet. And I still had the feeling that something was still watching. I was still uneasy. My friend, he was a couple months older than me, and he just tried to relax and stuff, just waited out a little bit to see if anything else would come by. And nothing did. So I think it's probably been like 30, 45 minutes now. And then we looked back, just because we just kept on looking back to see if anything changed or anything. Wasn't there. It moved closer, maybe around 30 to 50 yards. And this time you could see like the whole like body or whatever. And yeah, it looked pretty like close to 10 feet, maybe over 10 feet tall. It didn't look like a bear. I don't know about like a Wendigo or skinwalkers or anything like that. I don't know what it could be, but it was kind of crouched down just a little bit, and then we just froze. And I knew it was real because when it started moving, trees and bushes started moving around it, and it stood up. My buddy wanted to move closer, like to see what it was, but it was either that or we just run back to our four-wheeler. I chose the latter, and I just started running. I told my buddy to run, and he started running. We ran back up through the trail, got to our four-wheeler, and then in the front left tire, it looked like there's like somebody slashed it, or it looked like a huge like scratch mark, but the whole tire was flat. My heart was pounding. I turned the quad on. I was gearing up. My friend Daniel was like yelling like, we gotta go. So I threw in first gear. I was mobbing down the dirt road back to my house, and to our right there's like a valley where there's really nothing, and then to our left is the bushes and then the river. And it was fall, so like all the leaves were all crunchy, sticks and all that, and you could see like beside us while we were driving, like whatever it was probably in the bushes, like keeping up with us, because we just kept on hearing like loud footsteps, leaves like breaking. And as soon as we got to our house, we just parked the quad, ran inside. I locked the door. I told my mom. She didn't really know what to think, I guess. I don't know if she really believed this or not. My friend was freaking out. I was kind of just freaked out, and that's how it like ended off.
That's really scary.
Yeah, when I tell most people about these stories, like that one story, like I tell them like, you don't have to believe me, like it's pretty, like you don't, that's like a lifetime encounter. And I just say like, it's fine if you don't believe me, but like once you experience something like unexplainable, like then you start kind of believing other stories.
Yeah. Did he catch any grouse that day?
No. There was no grouse. Like that's like the one thing. Like it was just really silent. There was nothing near us. It was windy. It was cloudy. It was just silent. And that's like, as soon as we got there, that's when it like things started feeling off a little bit. Like you always got to trust your gut. That's why I ran, and my buddy wanted to go see what it was. But
yeah, do you think that it was that like entity that slashed your tire?
I don't know. That's the one thing that I still think about, because I would like to think so, because that just doesn't make sense. Like first that happens, we're running, and our tires just, the front left tire is just flat.
Yeah.
And it didn't look like a clean slash with somebody would do with a knife. It looked like it wasn't a clean slash. It was like a scratch. It looked like a big scratch, and it was just completely flat. Yeah, that old quad too, like that was toast. We had to get 2 new ones.
Yeah. Well, at least you got away.
Yeah.
Though. Did like, how did that change your perception of things after that?
Well, I think we were both in shock for a bit, and we were just trying to talk and try to explain it, like maybe it was some weird looking bear or something, but it did not look like a bear. It didn't have a bear's face. It wasn't big. It was just tall and skinny. But I don't know. When I was younger, before that, I mostly just believed in science. I didn't. I don't know. I feel like when I was younger, I didn't really believe much into like Sasquatches and all those like little dark, mysterious stories. But after that, then I was like, well, if like I had like an experience like this, I'm sure many other people have. And there's really not like, you don't really get much for lying about it. But yeah, that's when I started like believing in but more other things, like maybe Bigfoot.
Yeah, I have heard some stories of Sasquatch and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you want a Kleenex or something?
I think am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
You're
I'm
not
good.
freaking, right? Do you still go outside and do stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've gone to the swimming hole a couple times, but that was during the summer when it was a constant flow in, so there was nothing in the swimming hole, so we could swim in it. But during the fall, I haven't really been back. There'd be times where I would invite friends over and we'd play like games outside in the dark. And then sometimes I could just go without, like I could just play and I feel fine. But then there's other times where like it just feels like something's watching you and something's off. And then I'll just head back inside. But one time, I think it was 2 months after that incident, I had 3 buddies over. One of them was not the kid I was with hunting. It was just these 3 other friends. My mom came back, I think, from a dinner or a conference or work. And she called me and she was like, do you remember that story you told me a couple months ago about what you saw? And I was like, yeah. And then she said that my neighbor, Clifford, he had like a couple experiences like that. And she said I should message him or try to talk to him about it. So I did. His same experience was like mine, but way younger. Like it was probably back in the 70s. And I think when he was a kid, a couple of his buddies went down by the swimming hole, but this time they saw this huge footprint that like that you can identify it. And then I guess they just heard like a really loud, like unearthed like scream. So I guess him and all his buddies ran all the way back, and I guess it stopped like chasing them or whatever as soon as they got to all the houses. Like what happened to me and my friend. I know. And then I asked him like, what are like your theories about this or whatever. He just said it could be like a Sasquatch or something, but his guess is it's probably like territorial or something, because I guess when we went down, I guess we somehow pissed it off and it chased us, and I guess the same thing happened with him.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Do you think it's the same thing?
I don't really know. My guess is it could be.
Yeah.
Probably is, but I don't know. There's a lot of things to think about when something happens like this to you. Sometimes you just don't want to believe it's real, and there's like some like explainable reason. But like for me, mine didn't seem explainable at all. I'm not really friends with that friend of mine that went hunting with me anymore. But I guarantee you, like if I went up to him or somebody did and asked him about it, his story wouldn't change either. Yeah.
Wow, that's really creepy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. There were some other stories of people living out there that I heard about UFOs and stuff too.
Yeah, I don't know about like UFOs. I haven't really had my own experience or heard any right now, but I feel like a lot of people on the reserve do feel like something is out there. Like I have another cousin of mine that I think lives in Kelowna right now, but he used to live on the reserve with me. And when I first told him that story a couple of years ago, he's like, "Yeah, I believe you. Like, there's something weird out here."
Mm-hmm.
And I think he had something like that, but it could be explainable. But I think one time he was out hunting in the back, and he just heard another loud. It didn't sound like an animal, just like some like disturbing scream. And I guess he said that he fired a couple shots and then just left.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess those could be explainable because I guess some animals do make just weird sounds.
Yeah. I've never been hunting, and I don't really know.
Yeah, I
what
don't
they sound like,
usually.
so.
Yeah, I don't usually go hunting that much. I'm pretty busy. My family's pretty busy, but
Mm-hmm.
I've been hunting a couple times with my dad and I guess my friend that once.
Mm-hmm. Have you experienced anything while you were in Takla?
I'm trying to think. I've only been there, like, I would only go maybe once a year.
Mm-hmm.
Or I haven't been there in a while. But I would only go, it would be me, my dad, my mom, and sister. And I guess we would just go for, like, the potlucks.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we didn't really stay out that much.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. When I stayed there, there's like the hotel rooms above the
motel
TTP,
or whatever, yeah.
And one of my coworkers was saying like there was something weird happening up there, and because there's like one common kind of room where everybody could go, and she said she like saw someone go in there, and she went in and there was no one there.
Yeah. That motel is pretty creepy though.
It is.
There's like the grocery store underneath,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's that restaurant.
Yeah.
But upstairs are the rooms, and the rooms are pretty creepy in the hallway.
Mm-hmm. And then it's like shared bathrooms for some of the rooms too, so you have to go out of the room to go to the bathroom. And I just run out and run back in because I didn't want to hang out outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also heard some other stories from Takla, and I was thinking maybe I've only been there a couple times, but
I've only been there a handful of times.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think these experiences mean? Do you think there was a reason behind them, or?
I don't know if there would be a reason behind them for them to happen. I just feel like, I guess there are a lot of things, I guess, in the world that haven't been identified yet. I guess I feel like whatever I saw, or like Sasquatches, Wendigos, Skinwalkers, are all, if they are real, which I'm leaning towards, I guess maybe, they have like a consciousness, and I guess they are pretty smart. And I feel like all over the world, when people have these sightings, some are probably fake, but I feel like some are real, because like I had this experience, a whole bunch of other people had these experiences, so I feel like there wasn't a reason for them to happen. I just feel like whatever I experienced or saw is just really good at just hiding.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of cases like in Canada and America, like, do you know, like the missing 411?
I think I've seen stuff about it before.
It's like missing, and then 411 means information.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of cases like in Canada, America, at like national parks, where it's a whole bunch of people just vanish without a trace, and say like they searched one spot or they searched the whole area, and then the body or whatever would be like end up in a place they already searched, or it would just be like unexplainable. Like one time, like they disappeared here and ended up all the way over here, and they don't remember if they end up alive. They just don't know what happened. And I feel like with a lot of those cases, it probably leans towards something like that I experienced. Because I mean, you just don't vanish really without a trace. Like I feel like that the cause of that is probably like how the thing I experienced is probably something or a big factor that causes those disappearances.
Yeah. And most people who go out like hiking and stuff kind of bring
the stuff
they need camping and bear spray and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's a mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have these experiences taught you anything about life?
Always trust your gut.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what my friend was thinking. He was like, yo, like we should go closer and see what it is. But you just got to kind of be smart about it. Like, you don't know what it is. Why the hell would you want to go over and see it?
Mm-hmm.
Trust your gut a lot. There's a lot of times where after that, I'm like, yeah, just trust your gut. If you don't, maybe something in your favor would work out. But a lot of times I feel like it won't. That's probably the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. That's a good lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's things that are unexplainable too that you could see, and it's hard to make a good judgment.
Yeah,
I guess,
actually, that
yeah.
is like a good, because I don't know. I feel like if I saw something like that again, I mean, you should trust your gut, but it would be pretty cool or whatever to see like what it actually was or is.
Yeah.
I guess that's what happened with my friend. He was like, yo, we should just wander over and see what it is. And I'm like, hell no. And we just ran.
Yeah.
Or I just ran and I told him to come, and then he just ran with me.
Yeah. That's creepy. Yeah. So, do you want to tell us some more about yourself and kind of, I guess you could tell us about your family and stuff like that?
Well, I grew up playing a lot of sports. My parents were both really competitive.
What sports did you play?
Well, me and my sister grew up playing basically, like, they would put us in every sport, and then we just fell into one sport or two sports that we were really good at. Both those, I guess, were volleyball and basketball. I think my sister was really good at both, volleyball and basketball. I was mostly good at just volleyball. Like, I liked basketball, but I feel like volleyball I just fell in love with easier. I did get signed to Capilano for this university, so this year. But just still being 18, freshly out of high school. I mean, I never liked high school. I really never did. And moving to North Vancouver was pretty fun. Like, living in North Vancouver, hiking, skiing, biking, there's a lot of stuff to do. Was fun, but trying to keep up with university or like a student athlete. You got your uni classes, 4 lifts a week, 4 practices a week, travel games. I just thought that was too much for me.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah. Right now my sister, I think, she lives in Kelowna. After high school, she took a gap year, and then her and her boyfriend moved to Vancouver for a year. She did makeup school, and she was a model for a bit. Right now, she does the model. She doesn't model anymore, but she does the makeup for the models now. And she lives in Kelowna as of right now.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I find, like, because I had a friend who went to a university and she played volleyball, but, like, in the end, now she's a teacher and she coaches volleyball.
Yeah.
So I think, like, it's definitely a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then, unless, I guess, if you wanted to go on to be a professional athlete, which would be even harder, I think. Yeah. Do you coach any teams or anything like that?
When I was in grade 11 and 12, I coached grade 9s, and then when I was 12, I coached grade 10s. I feel like volleyball or school and sports are different for everybody. Some people love school and are nerds and are really good at their sport too and continue down. Some just play sports because maybe their parents make them, but they really like school. I just love sports and volleyball. I just hated school. I wasn't a fan at all. I mean, there's other ways I could still continue playing volleyball. I could play down a year this club, so I could play a year down if I want it. And there's ways there's like little leagues you could join and you could continue coaching, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any other interests or?
I mean, right now, I would like to start getting into maybe mountain biking and skiing more.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like those are pretty dope.
Yeah.
I mean, and skiing all throughout winter, and then when summer comes around, mountain biking.
Mm-hmm.
But I've gone skiing usually a couple times a year.
Mm-hmm.
Never gone really mountain biking.
Yeah.
But it would be something dope to get into.
Yeah. Mountain biking's fun. There's lots of good places here in Prince George to go, which is awesome. And there's like a pretty good community around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In North Vancouver, that's what kind of sparked my interest.
That's a big, yeah.
Everybody was skiing. Like there's Cypress, and
Mm-hmm.
then I guess mountain biking's huge there. I guess because it's the North Shore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but last time 'cause I like used to snowboard so much when I was a kid, and then I kind of stopped when I became an adult, and then I went a couple years ago. I think like 3 years ago. For the first time in a long time, and I fell and I cracked a rib. And so I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't really want to go snowboarding anymore. And I was saying like, maybe I should try skiing.
Yeah, I feel like skiing is better than snowboarding in my opinion.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll try it out this year. I've gone cross country skiing and I found it really hard.
Yeah, I don't like cross country skiing either. No.
Yeah, so maybe. But we get a lot less snow now.
Yeah, well, it's the start of November and there's still no snow.
Mm-hmm. So maybe I don't have to worry about any winter sports. Yeah. So with your experience with that entity, has it changed your connection with the land or going outside?
I feel like partially. I mean, northern BC, you're up north, you get all 4 seasons. I feel like I don't know. I feel like it has changed my perception. Like usually I just thought they're just all the animals that I knew were out there, but now I know that something else could also be out there, so I am a little bit wary about that. I do want to, like, I've hiked quite a bit in North Van, but if I wanted to start getting into hiking, you could start here too, but it does change how I look at nature, I guess, and what's around me, and I guess you should always trust your gut.
Mm-hmm. Do you do anything to like protect yourself in that?
I mean, I should probably start bringing bear mace, something like that. Or I guess in Canada you need a pal to carry weapons with you, or like a gun. So I probably couldn't do that unless if I'm hunting. But say I'm going hiking or anything, probably bear mace. I guess there's other things you could get, like when you're out deep in the woods or whatever, going on hikes or camping, and you have no cell service. I guess there's things you could buy that track where you are, and I guess could just send like an SOS signal if anything happens. But that's really all I could think of right now.
Yeah. Do you do anything like spiritually to like help you out, or smudging,
not really. I'm more like of an atheist. I believe in the science. So I don't really know how I feel like there might be a creator, but I just don't. There's a lot of questions you can ask, but you can't get answers, and I just don't really know how to perceive life really. So no, I haven't done any spiritual or anything like that, but maybe I could believe in like the paranormal, like ghosts, because I mean there's like creepy times. I've like a couple of times at my place where there's like something creepy that happened. I guess one time my parents were gone. It was me and my sister. My grandma was watching us, and we were all downstairs, and out of nowhere we heard this huge loud bang upstairs. We ran upstairs and go check. There was a painting in our washroom right beside the door hanging, but it somehow fell and was all the way up in the middle of the hallway. And that was like the first time I saw my grandma kind of freak out, and she didn't really know what the hell that was. That's like, there's like other many things like like a door slamming, but that could also be justified by like a gust of wind somehow maybe. But those are the things that could maybe.
Like that all happened in your house?
Yeah, like it just
Okay.
a random door just slamming. Like my mom's door just slammed once, and the painting just falling in the middle of the hallway somehow.
Yeah. But you never felt like scared being at home alone or.
I mean, yeah, it is pretty creepy being home alone after you were like, it's like when I was younger too, I was in my room just playing games all day, and then out of nowhere, a painting in the hallway too. This was a different painting. It was glass, just fell and smashed. And I called my dad. I told him, and he thought it was me who broke it, and I told him it wasn't me. Like I was playing games, it just happened. But like when I was younger, yeah, I'd be scared being home alone after experiencing something like that. But now, not really. The most scariest thing that happened to me was whatever happened to me and my friend when we went hunting.
Okay, so you had another story?
Yeah, just one last quick story. But it was before that health center was built, so it was just all valley, and then there's the valley, and then there's the back where the forest or whatever starts. And I guess this was like 2016. Me, two of my buddies were walking back to my place after just playing outside, and then where the line starts of that forest, like there's the valley forest, and just there's that line where it starts. We saw this big thing. It wasn't black. It was like a white, light blue, and we just saw it started from one side. Like the valley's huge. It started from one side, and then just ran on the tree line. It was like going fast. We just froze and stood there and looked at it. And then as soon as it got like kind of close to like where the water tower would be, it just went in the forest and like just disappeared. And then after that, we heard a loud scream. Like, but that was like 5 minutes later. Like we were just getting closer to my house, and after that, we just heard just a huge, loud, unearth-like scream. But no, when we saw that, one of my friends started freaking out because he didn't know what it was. I was just shocked because we didn't really get like a good look at it, but whatever it was big, and it was just like going quick, really, really fast.
That's weird. Was it on like two legs or?
It looked like it could have been on two legs, but it was going fast, like 90 kilometers an hour. Started from one end, like the valley's huge, and started from one end, and we saw it come out of the bushes or whatever, and then just bolted all the way on the tree line, and then just went back in. And then we just heard a loud scream, and then one of the guys who was freaking out just went home, so it was just me and my buddy, and then we just went back to my place. But that was like the only other scary thing that's happened to me.
Weird. Unexplainable. Well, thank you for coming on my podcast. It was a pleasure having you here, and I'll definitely make sure to be careful when I'm out out in the woods.
Are we good?
All good. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. We'll turn off the cameras.